Hi, I'm Meka,
And I'm Nataraja.
and we are Ascended Heart Navigators. Tonight we're here with special guest, Magical Michelle. Yay! And
Hey,
Nataraja is going to ask us some questions.
I
So,
am because I love the part of interviewing. It's so much fun.
right?
And I'm excited to hear from you, Michelle, and to hear a lot of like more about you, more about I know that you've got so many different things going on, and I know that you've been working with Meka and are continuing to work with Meka. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more from both of you. So welcome to the Ascendant Heart Navigators.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. I love you guys so much. You make my heart sing.
Oh,
Same.
yay. So Michelle, can you tell us a little bit more about you and your work?
Yeah. So over the last 10 years, I've really dedicated myself to being a theta healing instructor, a master theta healing teacher. I teach 17 theta healing classes. I have a certificate of science in theta healing, which is pretty rare. And so I teach all the top classes. But what that also gives me the opportunity to do is really deep dive healing
Mm.
with people. And so that kind of tied in with my early years as a very shamanism and all the different world religion studies that I was cultivating before I became a healer. So with that and Reiki, it's come into a whole new dimensional reality this year, as I've started channeling over the last few years too. So just a lot of amazing things going on with like the Akashic Records and some other great stuff.
We're gonna get into some details. So tell me a little bit how you two connected and like what your work has been, Mecca.
Ooh. Well, you actually were like at one point saying like if you ever need like a really like phenomenal reading or deep healing, you need to talk to Michelle Orwick. Like you
I
told me
did.
that you did like 8 years ago. You're
Wow,
like,
I can't remember that.
this is the name you need to remember.
I remember going in and buying tea about once a week, and she would say, "I need to talk to you," and I'm like, "Here's my number. Come on over. We'll have tea." And then like 3 years later, we'd be at like a festival, and she'd be like, "I really need to take a theta healing class," and I'd say, "Come on over." And then just a few years ago, it just collided into it had to happen, perfect timing, and this is what I call a divine appointment for timing.
Whew.
And we just got right on the fast track with she went through in 2019.
Yeah.
She went through basic, advanced, digging deeper, and then she took intuitive anatomy and DNA 3 and some of the like top end um, courses. And what those do, she'd had her accident by that point, and what those do is they do quantum level physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. And so she already had all the shamanism. She already had the psychic work. So you combine those, and she's just a top notch student, like as good as it gets.
And
Oh,
what a phenomenal not only is Michelle an incredible teacher, but she's truly a mentor and such a deep, deep friend. Like I feel like um I'm getting chills. Like I feel like there is like a soul alignment of us being able to finally spend time together and really become such, great friends. And I feel like we're just going to be creating magic like for the rest of our lives together. So I'm so privileged to have her as a teacher and mentor because I have learned so much, and I have had so much healing, and I have so much more awareness on like the details of things. She always says that the magic is in the details, and it's so true. But Michelle has given me a different way of experiencing life, like and observing things, and and she'll bring me back into myself, like all the things that you want to be able to do for others as a healer, and as um, seeing the way she does it, and she's able to teach it, and seeing it as not only as a student or as a receiver of that, but as someone who then gets to pass on, healings. It's incredible. It's another level.
That's one of those magic details, though. Every good teacher is a student always, and every good student is continually teaching.
Yeah.
And it's like this magic. You're always learning, you're always growing, you're always expanding. And I love that about both of you, because you've both taken classes with me, is that you basically take what you learn and you apply it to what you know, and you create from there. And that's any good magician, alchemist, is taking every experience and making synergy. And my deep inner goal is to create inner wholeness in people. So the deep wound healing with whichever tool comes out of the toolbox, whichever thing that is required for us to play with, or whether it needs to be play or whether it needs to be really serious, is to get to the energetic of healing whatever needs to be healed, forgiving whatever needs to be forgiven, accepting whatever needs to be accepted, so we can create from a place of wholeness and oneness. And that's why when we're artists, because I started as an artist. I was wanting to be an artist, and I ended up as a real estate agent and all the things. And so this brings me the energetic of being an artist, but an artist of soul work.
Oh, I love that.
Both of you.
I love that. And so both of you had mentioned shamanism, and I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about your, how the theta and how the shaman practice it works well together, or how they're like they meet the meeting point.
Well, they're based on the theta brainwave. That's what the theta brainwave is, kind of that meditative brain state where your conscious mind kind of quiets a little bit and stops thinking quite as much to block, and receives like your new intentions, like your new intentional programming for yourself, which is where forgiveness and gratitude and all these things can do their work. But I think that when the shamans, drumming is a big part of shamanism. So not even talking about medicine shaman work, just journeying with like drum work and meditation. So the drum changes the frequency of your brain to be able to go in and get like hear your higher self or your subconscious, and your truth more, and be able to do some moving of energies, releasing, and then bringing in new intentions or downloads. So what I've seen, the relationship between that and theta healing is just very obvious and clear version of that, which is using the theta brainwaves. So it's like a very modern approach to ancient shamanic practices, but it's brought into a modern format that we can understand in a really cool way.
And I also find it very interesting because it's just a different name. We have shamans and medicine men and women and midwives, for that matter, because the whole goal for anyone is, as a healer over all ages, is to find ways to connect with nature, to connect with the soul, and to find meaning and purpose of the divine. And whether that is using plants for healing, like literally an herbalist is a version of a shaman, because it is anything that is bringing a natural formula or alchemy. Your mother who makes you chicken soup is technically doing a form of shamanism, because there is chemicals in the chicken soup that actually boosts our immune system. So when someone makes you something loving and kind to heal, that is a form of medicine. And so
Absolutely.
we call it in all kinds of different words, the medicine of. And so medicine can come through emotional, physical, spiritual means. And just the theta healing process is checking into this life, if there's a block from another life, if there's something in your DNA or your ancestry, and then deeply connecting to your soul and what it's here to learn, the virtues that it's here to create as an experience. And we're all here to learn to be the creators of our reality.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear, and I felt that there's a lot of connection between shamanism and theta healing. So I wanted to hear for the lionesses' mouths.
And the practitioner who created this, the woman who healed herself of bone cancer, Viana Steibel, the creator of theta healing, her husband is a Native American. He isn't Native American, but he studied deep medicine. He was like, what do they call that? The
Anthropologist?
no,
Or
when you go into the heated room, the sauna room.
sweat
Sweat lodge.
lodge.
So he was a
Yeah.
sweat lodge.
That's some beautiful work.
He's makes these beautiful songs. He sings these amazing Native American songs. So there is a Native American, piece to how this came about. Because she studies different things, but it was really just a energetic prayer where she's connecting to the energy of all that is in whatever name. It's a formula. It is not a religion, it's a formula. So it can be applied to literally any belief system, as long as there is a belief system that you are worthy and you may heal. And that's one of the things I overcome, is helping someone feel worthy, good enough. That's like half of my work, is getting someone to believe it is possible, that it is possible for them, and that they are worthy, and that there's no punishment programs in their own system to change their belief that they can heal physically, emotionally, or spiritually.
That's
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I found that even from my journey recently of working with people who are working with like belief systems and stories and like the shadow work is I find that almost with every single person that I talking to is this issue of worthiness.
Wow.
And believing and your self-worth as being one of the biggest like belief systems to break through. So that's interesting.
And I call it a set point, because you can be really good in one area, but as you progress, and that's why we continue our growth. So you can first maybe you overcome your childhood, and then you overcome like maybe a relationship that taught you something, but then you hit a set point. Like, and I'm just gonna use you as an example.
Okay.
One of the things we do is we see and visualize the next step, the next layer. And then I'll ask them, well, is that possible? So I'll be like, you're standing on a stage and there's a million people in front of you. What does that feel like? And then she would go into what that felt like. And if it felt good and expansive, we'd energize it. But if it felt like, well, what would happen? Maybe if there's any fear, it'll come up. So I'll just ask you, if you were standing on a stage in front of a million people, what would that feel like?
Wow, that's a lot of people. I mean, it feels really beautiful. It feels very united and connected, and magical and powerful. It feels good. It feels really good.
So we've done a lot of work, because what we did was overcame any fears that, maybe it wasn't safe to do that, or that she wouldn't be good enough. So that's how it works. And then we energize that, and we magnify that and make it in the person's mind, in their visualization, in their heart, and their body congruency so real that it's inevitable.
Wow.
Right. Thank you. And so, Meka, I understand that Michelle is going to be brought in on this new CD project that you're working on. Can you speak a little bit to that and what that looks like?
The Heart Healing album that kind of started Ascended Heart Navigators and Nataraja and I talking, and the vision for that was really about bringing the best of the best, like the healers that I've seen do the magic and the work, and create like a actual journey for an individual to be able to follow and receive healing and be connected to their ability to heal. So of course, I've been talking to Michelle about this for, a couple years now. And I know that the way that she brings in like meditations, she literally channels these incredible meditations that are so aligned, that I know that whatever she does for this project is going to be exactly what it needs, and whoever is meant to connect with it needs for their healing journey.
Well, and you do this in your music all the time. When we use a certain frequency with our words and our intention, it's an activation implanted through time and space to the listener whenever they receive the message. So we would be putting literally liminal programming of wording and intention and meaning to put healing directly into the music, the words, and the meaning.
Yes. So we have to work together for this, because we're all the love and the creation and the connection of my soul sisters are coming together. The fact that I was brought to Michelle Orwick right at the right time to study with her, that, Nataraja and I've been friends. I mean, all of us have known each other for around the same time period, the past 8 years. But there's something else too, where we just know that we're supposed to be doing all this incredible work, but there's also this union of like, well, this is my offering that of course includes my soul sisters. I know that Michelle Orwick's work is profound, and I want to offer any of my love and support, and how can I contribute to what she's doing. But it's like we're all doing our things and supporting each other. And that's why you came, across country to build Ascended Heart Navigators podcast, because we knew we had to do a podcast and talk to our favorite people and like share the message. And so I think that it's something that we don't even have. It's like we totally have a choice, but at the same time, it's already, our higher selves are already working on stuff. Right. And they're like, okay, guys, all right, ladies, you're doing this. So it's special.
Souls know. Even then, their time and space isn't linear exactly. Right. So we are attracted to those that we're going to work with in the future. We already feel a pull for people that we're going to be, in our highest frequency with. So those people, you just know them. You introduce yourself and you're like, we're going to play.
Exactly. and we know. Yeah.
So Michelle, you have your fingers. So I've kind of been watching, you from afar. I've been in Oregon for 6 years, and, watching all of the things that you've been doing, and not really knowing in depth all the pies that you have your fingers in. So can you tell me a little bit about all the things that you do? Because I understand that you're doing a year-long goddess journey. That's one, right? In addition to the Theta. So can you tell me a little bit more about?
So it's my passion project. It's something I've wanted to do for quite some time, and 2020 actually gave me the time, the energy, and the space to fully just do it, which is a 1 year and a day, and anyone can start at any time. So this is like a rolling program. So wherever you start, your year starts then.
Oh,
And
okay.
we go through the holidays as the Celtic holiday wheel of the year, the 8 PowerPoints, midsummer, winter solstice, the equinoxes, and the cross quarter holidays. And we access the new moon, the full moon, and any other massive ascension dates like 11/11, for example. And what we do is we collect energy together on Zoom. We do activations. We have studies of the basics astrology, basic wheel of the year, nature cycles, the elements. There's a massive understanding of the elements that goes into it and the tools. So it's kind of like modern shamanism, modern magic, taken from a very goddess bent. So it is based on channelings from what I call the Goddess Council and Isis, and so it's not the old way, it's the new age way of living very intentionally, in community, which in 2020 it was so hard to have. And yet we found a bigger, broader community because we meet on Zoom and in Facebook groups, and there's things like journal entries and homework assignments and rituals and all the fun stuff like altars and all the things. So it's a year-long program. And then I have little entry points like one-time activations that I do, um, which help people if they're one-offs. If something is coming up big, like the 12/21 ascension date and astrological alignment, I will do like a one-off ascension channeling. This last few years have really brought me to understand my powers. I wanted to deny that I could channel. I wanted to deny the Akashic Records. I didn't used to like to be called a psychic. I only wanted to be called an intuitive. But when it moved into calling it a divine channel, that got easy. When I got out of my own way, got into my passion projects, like I published part of a book. I was in an anthology this year called Sovereign Unto Self, a very goddessy book with 15 other women. And so that only brought me deeper into finishing my own book, which is really close to done and ready to get out there. And I've got meditations on YouTube, guided meditations, and then I found a healing machine, the frequency machine of Healy, and it's been a game changer this year. I wasn't looking for something extra to do because I'm a busy girl, but it just came into my life and I couldn't help it. I'm in love. I'm in love with my Healy. It's quantum
Real quick,
physics.
what is that? What is that? Can you just like
So I
do a
don't
little?
have one with me, but it is a small quantum frequency device that puts frequencies, both physical, like using electronic pulse
Okay.
frequencies, as well as a quantum sensor that can do distance frequencies. And there's
Okay.
120 programs. There's 1,440 different frequencies that it uses. And it does everything from chakras to pain to learning programs to sleep programs. And I've been combining it with my deep dive healing one-on-one sessions.
Oh wow. Okay.
Redunculously awesome results.
Okay. So I hear the goddess journey, the theta, the Healy work. And then you also mentioned Akashic Records. If you there's that, if you want to talk to you a little bit of that, I think there's probably like even more.
So for the last few years, I've really been deep diving into the laws, which the Akashic Records are based on the fact that we we have in the field already a blueprint of our soul and all the choices we've made in this lifetime, all the choices we could make, and all the choices from other lifetimes. So if you believe in that, and if not, that's okay. But I do, and I've learned that you can make a choice by asking the right question in the
Okay.
field, which is, what is my best choice? There's so many choices you can make, but there's a way to ask, what do I do to bring me to the outcome I desire? And so I do both work for myself and help facilitate where someone might have a block, for example, it doesn't even make any sense. So we were doing some releasing of like relationships from the field, from the Akashic field, where there was actual hooks and promises and obligations. So when we do that, we suddenly are untied from like this. We didn't even realize we were like in, they call it quantum entanglement,
Okay.
actually, where
Okay.
we actually aren't making decisions fully whole. We're making decisions where part of our energy is mixed up with another person's. So
Oh,
we
interesting.
clear that field, we release those unwritten promises, or maybe we found out that someone has it in their DNA, like their parents had something that kind of is blocking them right now. So we go into that and release it, clear it, heal it, and set up a new energy. So that's pretty
Okay.
fun.
And that's different. That's different than theta.
It
Right.
is and it isn't. So
Okay.
yes, we are using the Akashic field for
Okay. Okay. I
theta,
get it.
but I do actual readings in the field and combine it with theta healing, which is why I think I'm a little bit different than an average theta healer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
people say I can kind of find it, like I can literally energetically find a block in the field.
That's
Oh, okay.
true. I've witnessed her do that many times.
Whereas a normal theta healer is going to dig through a questioning process.
Oh,
And
okay.
Michelle just like narrows in and just sees it and like will like get right to it. And I never knew how she did that before. And now I completely understand. Like she really does know. She's like, there it is. What is that? And she like, she'll ask the right questions, say what it is. Like she really does get you
Okay.
to, unravel
And
your
I'm
quantum
kind of like
entanglements.
it's dog with a bone. I won't let go of it when I see it in the field, even if you want to avoid it. It's kind of like they teasingly call it my velvet hammer. Let's say, like softly and lovingly, I'm not letting go of the fact that you're sabotaging yourself on purpose.
Ding, 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 ding. I just love this incredible creature. Thank you.
And I do it lovingly. I really do.
It's loving.
It is about my love for
clear.
you. I can see, because when I was younger, I didn't realize that one of my worst benefits now was my worst fault, which is I can see the person's higher self. And I want you to show up as that. And so I would make my decisions in my relationships based on this belief that you could be your higher self, and not everybody wants to do that.
Right.
Right.
So
Okay.
when we start realizing that we can be our higher self, and yeah, I think that's a lot of my work, is that relationship with self. I've really nailed in over the last few weeks that all of my work is relationship work. It is your own relationship with self. It is your relationship with whatever you call source. It's your healing and changing your relationships with your parents, your belief, or your story about your parents, or your story as who you are. I do an enormous amount of relationship coaching between husbands and wives and partners, and but also mothers and daughters, and friends, and coaching around like, how is your relationship with your boss, or your, and I love doing weddings because I help people move through all their blocks and take them from single and hating themselves to worthy of love, and then I get to see them fall in love, and
Okay,
do
nice. So you do relationship coaching as well?
She does a lot. It's true.
Wow, girl. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. And then lastly, you also mentioned channeling. Like, what does your channeling look like? I recently experienced Meka's channeling, and I know what that looks like. So what is your channeling like? And do you channel specific being?
Literally the first time I've ever told this on camera. So over the last 2 years, I have been practicing in small groups and directly for my writing and for things that I create for my programs, a sense of stepping a little bit outside of myself. And then it acts as if I'm still there. I'm still aware. I'm not one of those people who channel and they're like somewhere else. I'm actually like, kind of like, oh, heck, I'm learning something here. And so, at first, it just seemed like it was a goddess, but it got very clear that it was the goddess energy of Isis, but also bigger frequency, because she is the goddess of 10,000 names. And really what I understand it as, she is the essence of the feminine divine.
Wow.
And so we call it, the royal we, meaning they call it the goddess council.
Wow.
Wow.
And so I just step out, and that's where a lot of my channelings, my activations come through from these messages, or I'll get woke up in the middle of the night and I'll have to write it down.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. There's so much about you that I didn't even know, Michelle.
I've been told I'm not really fully able to tell everyone what I do. Like, I'm humble. I try not to be like egocentric. And so I'm just trying to now learn to just be really honest about what I do. And it was never about fear of being judged. It was more like, I just do it. And doesn't everybody? And I didn't realize that everybody did.
No, Michelle. But Michelle, I mean, her website is beautiful, magicalmichelle.com. That it's truly, it's representing you well. So there's different ways to connect to you there. So I do recommend people investigate that and see what calls out to them.
And I admit to being more skilled at putting things on Facebook than on my website, as I'm learning to overcome all techno stuff, but I'll put things on Facebook that never make it to the website.
Spiritualists are like, okay, let's work with technology. We got this. I loved the clearing you did on technology earlier in the week, where you're like, let's clear all the blockages of technology. Let's clear the negative energy coming through in technology, so that we, as spiritual aware, individuals, can have a better relationship with technology. And Nataraja and I have been working really hard to learn technology for Ascended Heart Navigators.
It's the year of overcoming, babes.
It really is.
It is. And we're definitely, building everything we need to build. And, not letting any fear of technology stop us, and really removing those blockages.
One of my biggest joys, though, is watching people like you come out of their shell. And technology is one of the ways where we are now able to connect anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I'm old enough that I think of this as I'm living in the era of the Jetsons. So, the idea of having a watch that I can have a huge conversation with someone's face on is just awesome to me. And that we're here doing this is just amazing. So
I can't wait until we can all go and have lunch on the moon in a few years.
It's coming.
It is. I've heard like the actual scientists say, like, no, that's actually totally possible and totally coming soon. 10 years, just do a vacation quick, pop over here, zero gravity, black holes, move around the universe. It's gonna be great. So ladies, get ready, because I'm all about that.
You take virtual.
I want to thank
Virtual
you so
teaching
much.
to the next level. Yes. Yes. Very
I
cool.
look forward to seeing your presence and your work being woven into Meka's new venture, and that's beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful unfolding. How magic and your magic is going to be brought into this process of her creating her new CD.
I'm so excited. Like, I believe in Meka so much. There is one song, which I will not name here, but is everybody knows that I have predicted, and I'm putting it right here, is I know that I know that I know, and I know which song that Meka is going to win her biggest awards for, and it's going to probably be in movies and other things, but it will be the song that everyone can, that song that 20 years later you can still say it was this year and it was that movie, and I love that song.
Mhm.
I have seen this song in my dreams 20 years from now being one of those songs.
Wow.
That's how much I believe in her.
Woo! Woo!
Ooh,
Can't
love
wait to
that.
dig in. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to being on this journey with both of you throughout this project and throughout this process. So thank you very much for having this conversation, Michelle. Thank you, Meka, for weaving this all in as you do.
Well,
And
I just follow my heart and I find the most amazing magical beings ever. And so, I know that I'm doing something right if I'm in this company. So life is
right.
good.
I'm so grateful to walk on this earth with you beautiful women. I'm lucky. I'm the lucky
Agreed.
one.
Let's keep
Agreed.
doing it.
I'm
Well,
there.
thank you again. Thank you once again. And we will be seeing each other very soon.
Awesome. Good night.
Right.